Now if we hit this guy, we get a coke oven. And there we go. Nice. Throw in our blue hydrangea, 2 blue shimmering mushrooms, 2 cyan shimmering mushrooms, our wheat seed, and we get Hydroangea. Advancement made, quest completed. Hello everyone, Hamas28 here, and today we're back in the world of Skyblock Ghosts. So, as we left off last episode, we really accomplished a lot in Botania and got our hydrangea up and running. Now, I realized I can't actually do anything with this mana we're producing, because if you take a look, we can make a mana pool, that's no problem. But mana spreaders take gold, and gold is not easy to come by. I do have a little bit of gold nuggets that I was able to get from Yamask down in the bottom layers, but it's such a rare spawn, I just haven't been able to harvest like a lot of it, so I'm going to have to continue to do that at another point, or I'm hoping that we can sooner or later get access to the orchid, as you could see here, because it honestly doesn't seem that difficult to get. Like, you do need pixie dust, which will come from the elven trade, but we can get terrasteel nuggets from Ralt, so that should be easy enough to make. It's mostly just a matter of getting enough mana built up to actually power the portal, and I think, yeah, like a redstone root, we can craft that. I think these, okay, these don't drop, but the bigger ones do from other Pokemon. Although I've never seen a Marowak yet. But it does seem like a lot of these runes do drop from Pokemon, so it should be easy enough to get these, with a little bit of luck, honestly. But in between episodes, I did end up building this little indoor habitat over here, because I'm trying to get Litwicks to spawn, which have been very, very low. And for Litwicks, I'm trying to get them to spawn so we can get blaze powder, because that's kind of going to be needed to continue with starting a smithy, because I noticed at the Tinker's Anvil quest, it said this is the last thing you can do, which doesn't take lava. So I think after we do this, we should be able to get lava, or at least find a way to get some obsidian so we can enter the Nether. Anyways, we gotta make some Nether grout. Now, I was looking to see if we had magma cream. Oh, there it is. I literally couldn't find it until right now. Along, we're also gonna need this gravel, and I think that's everything, along with blaze powder, and do we have any slime balls in here? We do. Perfect. So we're going to need all of this, because to make nether grout takes magma cream, soul soil, and gravel. Magma cream, gravel, where's my soul soil? I could have swore I just had some. Where did I put it? Okay, there we go, soul soil. Now if we just combine all of this together, you get 2 nether grout. Quest completed. Then, let's see, we do have, oh, that's coming at the alloyer, so I don't have to worry yet. Then there's also scorched bricks, which is the normal way to produce scorched bricks. Wait, I can't read. The normal way to produce scorched bricks is to smelt the nether grout in a kiln, but you can also make it by melting magma cream and pouring it over flint in a casting basin. So now all we gotta do, oh, that's where I left all my wood, that's good to know, is take our nether grout, throw in some charcoal, and let that cook into our bricks, the scorched variety. Grab that scorched brick, quest completed, get some more soul sand. Scorched stone tools, deal additional damage to mobs that are already on fire. Wow, that sounds kinda useless. Like, honestly, status effects, I never deal with that. Alright, all 16 scorched bricks are done. Now to actually continue onwards and make one of these guys, we're gonna need some nether quartz. And there's only 2 ways to get it. Drifloons or go down and fight guys. And we're probably going to be better off fighting Drifloons. Now, I did check all of my storage. We had a single piece of nether quartz, which is not a lot. So we're going to have to come over here, place an hourglass, and turn on these Drifloon spawners. And I'm going to have to harvest them for, I think, only 4 more. Yeah, you only need 5 to make this, and it is like a, what chance is this, 30%, so if we need 4, we probably have to fight like 16 of these guys, which is not that great. Now, they do also drop other stuff that we don't need, but I mean, more soul soil doesn't hurt. We could also fight Carbink as well, which might be better, because Carbink also drops other items we need. Alright, this guy actually has a pretty sick design, even though he is pretty much just like a wall. And he gets one shot like everybody else. And he drops 2 runes of earth. I'll take that. That's delicious. Now, as for the Carbinks, I did expand this platform over here with a bunch of white sandstone. Luckily, I realized if you come over to Offerings to Arceus and pivot over to the left side, you can actually reclaim all these quests over and over again to get more and more resources, like white sandstone. They also come in different colors, which is good. But I mostly needed it for the carbinks. That carbink looks like a different color. And I said the wrong thing. Not for the carbink, so it's actually for the check spawns. Yamask, that's it. The Yamask that drop gold are supposed to spawn in higher numbers over here, but they're still really rare. Luckily, we get a lot of carbinks though, which should be good for getting our nether quartz. Alright, so that didn't take too long. After I got that tip from someone saying Pokemon won't spawn within 18 blocks of you, it's been making getting a lot of Pokemon to spawn that I want a lot easier. So after pretty much finding everything that spawned on this platform, we now have all of this junk. A little bit more gold, which is nice because I really needed the gold so I can make pretty much everything. Like, gold is used in so much stuff, it's actually wild. But now that we have the nether quartz, we can go ahead, head back up, and make our cistern. Now, I did notice there was a funky bug with gold nuggets. If you right-click, you can see it's printing stuff to the console, so it must have some kind of dev thing enabled on the gold. Or it might be because cheats are enabled. I'm not actually sure. It should still work if I melt it down into a gold ingot. It just makes it really annoying because I can't store it inside of this, which is why I'm storing it in my backpack. Anyways, if we come to our crafting table over here, there was a workaround I saw in the thingamabob. So if we come over here, this guy, scorched fuel gauge. If you actually use this guy to search, this will let you autofill the items into the crafting grid. So now we grab that, and quest completed. White shard and a block of quartz. Pretty nice. Now we can turn this into more quartz. Never mind. How do you do it? I think you actually have to use a tool or something to actually break it. Yeah, you have to use a cutting board for some reason, which is really annoying. Anyways, now that that quest is completed, we can then make the Scorched Alloyer, which will start the third invasion. Now, I do think we should be fine. We do only have terracotta armor, but I think the third one is just creepers, which I think shouldn't be too bad. So what do we need to craft? The Scorched Alloyer. Scorched Alloyer. And quest completed. Sets off a bunch of timers. Now we should have some time before the next invasion anyway. It also gives us the ingot gauge. Nice. Welcome to tier 3 crafting. Now if I take a look at evil forces... Yeah, here it is. The third invasion. It's going to happen in 5 minutes. Now this one does look like an enchanted horseman. So I'm guessing it's the creepers that are the fourth one, which is pretty dangerous, but I still think we should be fine, if anything. Now we just have to go ahead and place this guy pretty much in the same area over here. Now this is just the ingot gauge, ideal for metals, holding 3 molten blocks, retain liquid when broken. Because I think for this guy, you do have to place this on top of a heater, but all you have to have is a seared melter, and then an ingot gauge on the left and right of it to store stuff. And why is that making... Huh, why does that change the color? Interesting. That's so weird. So I'll just leave you guys here for now. And it looks like it unlocked all this stuff over here. Fairy, rose gold, and electrum. Cool stuff. I have some of these. Tier 3 armor, bronze, necronium, lead. That's about it. Your Pokemon give you some tin. Timer, the deadliest material for the sword is also the most dangerous, necronium. And the last one, bronze, or is this Constantan? Ruby is ridiculously durable, but also slow. Huh, good to know. So it gives us a lot of ways to craft some gear, but we do only have our bone stuff for right now. Well, the bone sword and then the terracotta armor. Hopefully it's good enough for the next invasion. Hard to tell, but I guess we won't know until we find out. Ah, there we go. So now we finally unlocked a sinking feeling. You've looked high and low for any sign that anybody but you survived the end of the world. Make or observe a cauldron. Okay, here we go. This is how we're going to get access to the end. I mean, not the end, the nether. Luckily, we have our cauldron from a while ago. Make magma cream, get a glass bottle. And here it is. This is how we make obsidian. Tools made of firestones can turn water or snow into obsidian. To get firestones, you'll need fire shards, and then you'll have to decide where you want to farm, although the ice layer has both Vulpix and Duramaka, both are very rare. You're better off harassing Litwick. Why do we always have to pick on poor Litwick? What did they do? Luckily, we do already have the area over there. They're just kind of hard to get them to spawn for some reason. Because if we come take a look, yeah, there's no Litwicks, as you can see. There's a Burmy, there's this really weird Porygon, there's a Shuppet, but if you take a look at the check spawns, Litwick should be a 21% chance, but I hardly ever see them. Which is really annoying. Lots of other good Pokemon here, though. And I think we're about out of time for the next invasion to start. And it's just skeletons. Wait, but where's the horseman? Don't see the horseman. I think he's over there. But these guys should be easy enough to deal with, because they just walk at you. Ah, there he is. He does have a bow. We're going to have to do some strafing. Oh, and he's really weak. Oh, never mind. That was just the horse. Alright, easy enough. No bow, though. Kind of sad. Let's take a look here. Third invasion. Kill 5 skeletons. So to get this to stop, how do I do it? Okay, I see. So to finish off this quest, we just have to make any Tinker's Construct armor. And then now this is the hardest one. Because it's labeled the hardest invasion. Gotcha. Okay, so we are going to be a little bit away until we can make some of the Tinker Construct's armor. Mostly because I don't have a lot of ingots. I'm going to have to farm a lot of it. But then we should be good to go. But now that that's out of the way, we did actually unlock the pathway to the Nether, which will take a little bit of work. Supplies to secure the portal. Fermented spiderite. What is this for? Gotcha. So to prepare for the Nether, it wants us to make better armor. It wants us to make potions of fire resistance, potions of weakness, and take some blocks so we can build a little base, a little structure to defend ourselves. Now it does seem like from the quest book that it's going to be full of zombies. Which is why we need the potions of weakness, along with the fact that it says they've already died once and villagers can no longer be killed or moved. So we have to bring them back as zombies, but that will let us get some villagers. Of course that means I'm going to have to build another village for them, probably off in this direction, which means we have a lot to do. Luckily we do have a lot of ingots here, like we have a lot of nickel. What do we have a lot of? A lot of tin. But we're going to need better armor to actually finish off the forces of evil and then move on to the Nether. We're going to have to make a quick pit stop in this section. Alright, so looking at our nuggets, we're going to have to farm a lot of Kling Clangs, and I think that's just their name, right? Oh no, it's Kling and then Kling Clang. Or is they... No. I forget what they're called. Aren't they Kling and Clang? Like it's two separate Pokemon named Kling and Clang. They mostly spawn over here, but that should give us the materials we need to start working on our armor. So the first thing we're going to want to get is some bronze, which shouldn't be too difficult, because if you take a look at bronze, it is an alloy of our two favorite metals. Take a look here. It is an alloy of copper and tin. And if you take a look at copper and tin, copper drops from Clink and Clang, and tin also drops from Clink and Clang. So if we just harvest these guys, that should give us all the materials we need to start making our armor, along with the roly-colies to also get some coal. Oh man, I should have slept through the night, because our Drifblim, as you see, is still paralyzed, which makes these fights really annoying. Alright, back from harvesting Clangs along with Bronzors. Bronzors were actually a pretty good source of copper compared to the tin. Now, this is probably not going to be enough. I think just to make the chest plate takes 6 ingots, and divide this by 9. That's only going to be enough for one piece of armor, but that's what we're going to start with. Now the first thing I want to actually make here is a bucket out of iron, because if I use the clay buckets here, these will break after they hold anything hot once, so I'd rather just use some of this iron to make something that won't break. So let's go ahead and melt this. Now we are going to need a bunch of sand that I actually completely forgot about to make our sand casts. Alright, now we can continue. Gotta keep melting this down. Let's see, I only did 6, so that's 1 ingot. And there we go, 3 whole ingots. Now if we take our sand cast here, I do need a brick. Oh, I forgot I had this mana steel ingot, so I can actually just use this if you don't throw it on the floor. To do that, take it out, and now we can make 3 iron ingots. And with that, we can make our first bucket. Done. I'm surprised there's no quest related to that, because now when we go to the Nether, we can actually store a bunch of lava. Now we do have a lot of gold, and I do need to use this for different things. I think the most important one will be making the ingot cast, just because we keep having to use sand casts, and I think just making the ingot cast right now should be good enough. We still will need some more sand casts for making the armor, but the ingot cast will be used most often. And there we go, found my bricks. They were in the furnace. So now if we just place a brick right here and put the gold on top, that will make the ingot cast. And we're good to go. So now we can just start melting. What do we need to melt actually? Oh, right. Actually, I don't even need the casting table for this operation. What I need to do, I only needed the bucket for this, is now we can start melting down the copper, like so. And I do have to melt enough to get a bucket's full, which I think is 1 ingot, and I can test that. Yeah, 144, that's more than a bucket. Can I not take it out? Interesting. Then how do I take this stuff? Because I thought I could just right-click this, and it's kind of doing it, but I think it wants to put it inside. Oh, I think I know what I can do. Let me try moving this, and then taking this ingot gauge, because these store their inventory, so if I put this here, okay, that's how you do it. So I can melt down all of our copper and store it into the gauge, and then melt down all the tin and put it in the other side. Alright, that's all of the copper. Now let's do all of the tin. And now that's all of the tin, and we're actually getting attacked in I think a minute or 5 minutes or so. Let me double check that. Forces of evil, forces, timer, 1 minute warning. Yeah, we get a minute of warning, so let me move this real quick. Take this guy, put you over here. Now if I put this back, actually I need to move this. Oh right, I do need this to be ingots. Okay, so it's actually a good thing I made this. Take this faucet and move this to the front here. Like so, and then if I put coal in there, it starts converting it into molten bronze. So after all of that, we got 4 ingots. Now I do have to fight these skeletons real quick, and then we can come back and build this. And they all spawned on the same area this time. Alright, that's all of our bronze ingots. Now, it's funny, I never actually used Tinker's Construct to make armor. It's usually just been for alloying stuff, but it should be pretty easy. Now, I will need more of these patterns. I forgot how to make them, though. I just remember it was sticks and planks, I believe, like this. Yes. So I will need a bit more wood, but for the most part, you just put these parts in here, put in the wood. Now, to make the armor, we're going to need a piece of mail, so wooden mail. And then we're going to need the body plate, which will take 6 of the material, along with the mail. So to make a full breastplate would actually take 8 ingots in total. We'll need a little bit more wood though. Let me grab this. But now you just come over here, you would take your sand, place the body plate, take it out, and now we would cast the bronze into this, which is going to be a little bit annoying. That means I should have left the bronze in here. I don't think there's a way to get it out. I can always remelt it in the melter though. Now I just need to get a lot more of our molten copper and tin available so we can actually keep alloying this and we'll be good to go. Now why didn't this mix? Alright, now we can actually finish off our casting. So this will make this one. Now let me grab some more sand and the wooden mail. So you can see it takes all of the 6 ingots or so to actually cast the full body like so. Sand cast, place the wooden mail, take it out. It's such a funky looking cast because it's just a bunch of squares, but it's supposed to be like a plate body mail piece. Then we take both of these back to our table over here, the Tinker Station. Click on this for the chest plate, and we can make the bronze chest plate. Quest completed, and I think that finishes this thing. It does not. It wants us to also make the hat, the legs, and the boots. Luckily, it's the exact same process, you just come over here. Although the head, boots, and leggings should be a lot easier because it doesn't take 2 parts. Wooden head. I will need some more wood. And then just to double check here. Okay, never mind. It actually takes 2 parts. They all need a piece of the mail. Good to know. This armor was breaking anyway. It's a good time to replace it. Wood goes inside. So now we need legs, and we need our feet. Done. Now we just have to cast these in sand, and we're going to need a bit more sand cast because we need 1, 2, 3. So we need 6 in total. Luckily we do have this soul sand, so we make some soul casts, and that should get us there. See, our boots are first, next are the leggings, and finally our helmet. And done. Oh, nice. Oh, that's not the quest that completes. You have to put it together. But now we have all of the wooden pieces. We just need a couple more mail, and we're good to go. And now we put it all together. Helmet with helmets. Boots with boots. And legs with legs. Wait, what? Oh, that's why I didn't click the right thing. There we go. And legs with legs to complete the quest. And it gives us a whole bunch of stuff, like a fossil, some bottle of enchanting, some rock crystal, all good stuff. Let me just replace this real quick. And we're fully kitted out. Now the cool thing about the bronze armor, if you actually take a look here, go to modifiers. Okay, I couldn't actually find the modifier. Regardless, the modifier for bronze armor is maintained. As long as they maintain a certain level of durability, we get bonus speed. Doesn't really matter that much. I actually don't really like it because it kind of adjusts the FOV, as you could see, and I never like when they change the FOV because it kind of makes me a little bit nauseous. But we're marginally faster and more defensible too. So we can skip this. That does mean we shouldn't be getting attacked anymore. At least I hope so. I can't really tell if this is working. It might not stop until we make them an axe as well, but I think this one covers it. And that finishes our quest over here. That's done. So we get iron defense, HP up, and a choice of 5 feathers this time. Still don't know what I still don't know what the best use of the feathers are. I know it changes the IVs, but I never played Pokemon enough to where messing with IVs mattered, right? Like, I never played competitive, and I never really did the post-game content either. So I was aware of what they do, I just never did them. Now, this is saying we should be able to find an anvil in the Nether, which will let us get Honedge, which should get us access to a lot more iron, which is very nice. Now, optionally, it does want us to make some Necronium armor, which is pretty cool, but it does inflict us with Wither, and we don't have a good supply of milk at this point, so I might not do that. Now, to start the 4th invasion, we have to make the Tinker's Anvil, but we can actually ignore that for a while we continue with exploring the Nether. So I was looking at the quest book, and this is actually a really good tip, because this is something I always forget. Stuff like Nether Gold ore can get melted down for higher yields than just breaking it. Now, normally, to make silky cloth, you need string and rose gold takes a gold ingot. But the quest gives you 6 gold nuggets, so I only lose 1/3 of an ingot for doing this quest. So we're going to go ahead and melt a full gold ingot real quick. Now we can use my brand new bronze pickaxe and swap out this guy here. And I forgot, this guy's full of molten bronze. And I didn't even take out the gold. Okay, 1 second. There we go, pour the gold out. Gold goes here, that goes there. Now if you look, this should mix. We have 1 ingot, and actually it won't mix. We're missing a little bit of copper. And we have 5 ingots of bronze. So let me empty out the bronze real quick, and then we need to go find a little bit of copper. And perfect, exactly 3 copper nuggets. Just what I needed. Oh, there's a Yamask. I'll get your gold later. I'm hoping once we go into the Nether, our gold problems will essentially be gone because we could just harvest it. I will no longer need to get it from Yamask, which should be really nice. So now come over here, melt down the copper nuggets, pour it out, grab you, plop it there, rose gold ingots, grab some string, and combine into a sticky, I forget what it's called. Not sticky, what was it called? Silky. I knew it started with an S. Silky. And it's not there. Interesting. Silky cloth. And now we should be able to add this modifier to our pickaxe like so. And I can't do it. Why can I not do it? How does this work? Oh, you need 5 of these. Okay, no problem. Because we have 3 more ingots, which just means I will need a little bit more gold, which is annoying. Now, wait, I do actually finish this quest, which gives us 6 more gold here. And I can't store everything. I really need to empty my inventory. Alright, so we have 3 and 1. To actually apply this, we're going to need 1 more, which just means we need 2 gold nuggets. That's a single Yamask. Alright, now just gotta fill this with our copper solution. Then now we can mix this again with the gold to make the rose gold. And that will give us 3 more ingots than we'll need. I don't even know what rose gold does, like for modifications. Like, see, I don't like auto smelt. I guess looting is okay. Luckiest is also pretty cool. Seems kind of expensive though. Anyways, we still have all of our string. Where did I put it? Oh, I threw it back in the thing when I right clicked. That's what happened. So re-grab the string. Now we make 5 more silky thingamabobs. Man, it is really annoying that JEI does not want to work with this mod pack. And now, throw this on here, and it doesn't work. Oh, does this take... No, it's on the Tinker Station. How does this work? Modifiers. Let's see, maybe it has to be fully fixed for it to work? No, that doesn't make sense. I can test it, right? If I do like string is a modifier, isn't it? Okay, so I watched a YouTube video. Turns out I will need the anvil to actually apply Silk Touch to this, which is very annoying. Which means that's going to have to be put off until we complete the next invasion. A little bit sad, but what can I say? How do you actually craft one of these? You just need to get any block of these, right? Like this is a block of rose gold, which we might do that since going to the Nether should yield a lot of gold for us. Hard to say. They're all pretty easy. But that is a little sad. That means I'll get less gold the first time we go around, but at least we're pretty much set for the most part. We have really good gear. I do need a better weapon, which we can craft once I harvest some more ores, but other than that, we're almost set to go into the Nether. Alright, now that the skeletons are out of the way, we can continue with working on our quest to enter the Nether. Now, the main thing we're going to have to do is find firestones and steel. Now, I'm going to double check my storage real quick. I might already have some steel rods available. Alright, after triple checking, there is no steel anywhere. Now, we do have a couple of these firestone shards that I previously got from, I don't even know what Pokemon dropped these. I think it was just Chandelure, maybe. I think I fought a couple of those. Or maybe Lampet. Oh, definitely Darumaka. Maybe I got one from him. And likely Litwick. So we are going to have to fight these guys over and over again so we can get enough to craft our gear. So you can see the Litwicks are spawning a little bit. These scary Porygons are mostly here, not sure why. And it dodged my ball. And we get an extra one. Nice. Now it does take 9 of these to make a single firestone, but then you can take all these firestones to make a tool. Now I don't think it matters which tool we make, really. So we could just make a firestone shovel and that should do the job, but then we still need 2 steel rods. Now taking a look at the quest book, making it is difficult and steel is hard to melt without lava, but don't give up. There is a quest. There's a quest available that should help. So if we take a look at metals and gems and come up over here, once we get 9 steel nuggets and a steel ingot, there is an optional quest available that will let us turn 9 steel nuggets, mana powder, and cinnabar dust into 1 bucket of molten steel. Now, how do we actually get steel? Okay, so we can get a steel ingot from Agron. I've never seen one spawn yet. They're quite rare. And these steel nuggets do drop from Shieldon, and I have seen a couple of those. They're also a very small chance from Aaron, which is surprising. I've fought a lot of these guys. I might have a couple steel nuggets lying around. Okay, so we do have one here, and if there's only one, then that might be the only one I actually have throughout the base. So after checking all of my chests, we have 1 steel nugget, and that's it. Which means I'm gonna have to wait down here and fight some Aarons. Shouldn't take... Actually, it's gonna take a while, right? Because it's a 10% chance to drop, and we need 9 of them, which means theoretically I have to defeat 90 of them. Now I do need the other ingots and baubles anyway, so I might as well just fight all the Pokemon that are down here, minus the unknowns. I don't think the unknowns actually drop anything useful, so I'm gonna ignore them. Bronzors, though, definitely on the table because they can drop me some copper. Finally, the final steel nugget, and I'm done. I've been farming for 40 minutes. Look at all this junk. Well, it's not junk. I can use all of this. But Arons are only a 10% chance. The better odds came from Shieldon because I defeated one and got 3 steel nuggets, and then I never saw another Shieldon again. But at least it's done, and we can move on. Now, we are going to have to use some gold in order to make a mana spreader, so we can make a mana pool, so we can make some mana dust. But after that's out of the way, we can craft some molten steel and make some steel rods. I also ran into a couple rarer Pokemon down there, like the Confagrius. I thought they had a different name. Oh, weird. Confagrigus. But because of him, I got 2 golden ingots, which was very sweet, and I appreciate that. Now, if we come back all the way to metals and gems. Oh, that's interesting. I thought it said the ingot or the nuggets will work. Oh, I guess I just have to melt. Wait, but I can't melt it though. I was gonna say, oh, I guess I have to melt it, but I can't melt it. That's the problem. Then where do I get a steel ingot? Only from Aggron. Well, here's Aggron. I've never seen one, and it says they can only be drawn out with steel, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. But that's odd, because the quest should be completed. Oh, wait, there's another way. I forgot, there was this way. Using our 9 steel nuggets, a bucket, mana powder, and cinnabar dust, we can make a bucket of molten steel. Cinnabar dust, though, I don't think I've seen this. Cinnabar. Relicanth. I might actually have some cinnabar dust. Okay, so no cinnabar, but relicanths spawn over here pretty often, and we just need a single piece of cinnabar to move on. So that's not too bad. I also do... How are you over here, Pumpkaboo? Anyways, we will need to make a Runic Altar, which takes a mana diamond or pearl, which will take a mana pool, which we can craft with some living rock. Luckily, we did get quite a lot of stone. I don't know where I stored it, though. Is it right here? Can I use andesite for this? Looks like I can. So we can just turn this into living stone, make a mana pool, and then using those 2 gold bars that I got from... I'm not even going to try to keep pronouncing it. From that one Pokemon, we can make a mana spreader. We are going to need some wood, and that takes logs, right? So I will need some living wood, so I'm going to make this into a tree real quick, chop the tree down, and my bone pickaxe broke. I'm going to have to fix that. And then we should be good to go. Alright, so I gathered 16 living wood, 16 living rock. That should be enough to get just the basics started. We still need 2 more Firestone shards to make the stone tools, but then we should be good to go. So first things first, we are going to need a wand of the forest, which I should be able to make with these mushrooms here. Then use these to make twigs, like so. And we can make a blue one. Nice. Now then we need a mana pool. And our mana spreader. What am I missing? Oh, it also needs one. So let me take this back. Make one more magical mushroom. And then put that together. And there we go. We got all the basics. Also completed a lot of quests for us. Probably in here, right? Oh, there's a lot in here, actually. Oh, it's really expanded. Interesting. I wonder at what point it got unlocked. Hydrangea motif. Gotcha. Okay. So, to actually set this up so it runs pretty much forever and passively, what you have to do, you can see the Hydrangea I placed here before is gone. Because, where did I leave it? Right here. I made another one. When you place the Hydrangea here, and you can check that with the wand here, it's producing mana. But even if it fills up, it keeps producing, and after an hour, it will turn into a dead bush, which you don't want. But if you take your pure daisy, which is right here, and put this guy next to it, the pure daisy is going to turn the hydrangea into the hydrangea motif. The motif version is exactly the same, except it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. We're going to exploit this to reset the lifetime of the hydrangea. So essentially, this is going to make the hydrangea work half as fast. So we're going to lose 50% efficiency, but it lasts forever, which is what we want. So now we just take our mana pool, take this mana spreader, and we just put this guy. We probably just put it right here for now. We're going to have to make this better at some point. Right-click the hydrangea, right-click this, right-click the mana spreader and the pool, and we can start storing the mana. Now to complete the quest, I do have to collect the motif, so we're just going to have to wait for that to transform. It shouldn't take too long, and there we go. It transformed into the motif, and no magic. But we can collect this, put it back, and finish the quest. Oh, nice, and it gives us another motif, which is essentially another hydrangea. Okay, the last quest just has you make a floating one, and you get 3 more, but it just points out that the floating ones cannot be turned into motifs, so they're not as efficient as this setup here. So you can see it is now a motif, it's not doing anything, we're not producing mana. But then when it transforms back, we're going to get the mana back, which is what we want. And nice, one of the... Ooh, I thought we could pick it, but we actually got lucky, and we got the Firestone shard, so I think we just need one more. And there we go, it's now a hydrangea, and it's producing mana for us. We also get 9 more mana steel nuggets and trailblaze. I've never heard of some of these moves. Now we just have to find one more Firestone shard, hopefully from one of these Litwicks. And there we go, first try. 1 Firestone shard. And that means we finally have all the tools required to get obsidian and head into the Nether. So let's go ahead and turn these Firestone shards into a Firestone. Then take our wood to make some sticks and make a Firestone shovel. Wait, how do I make a... Oh, you need the steel rods, I forgot. Completely forgot about that. We got the Firestone. Now we need the steel rods, which is why we needed Botania. So now we're just going to need... What was the tool we needed? This guy. We need a Runic Altar, which takes 5 living rock and a mana pearl, which is ender pearls or diamonds. So let me grab an ender pearl real quick, right over here. And I think we have enough mana to transform this guy. We do not. How much do we got? Not enough. So let's see. We do have a second hydrangea. I could probably double the output if I place both of them next to each other. And alright, now it's working. I had to fiddle around with the water, so I just mirrored this setup on this side for this hydrangea, because I thought you could just do it with one, but I guess it doesn't supply enough water. So I just mirrored it to this side, and now it works. So now if you come over here, this hydrangea is active, and this one is inactive, and they're going to swap activity over and over. So with 2 hydrangeas, we essentially have the efficiency of a single hydrangea that's running 24/7. Now it is still quite slow with generating our mana, but at some point we should have enough to make our mana pearl. In fact, let's try that right now. See if there's a good enough amount of mana, and there's not. Oh wait, there is a... Where did I... There it is, our Black Lotus. Cover your ears for this one. It's quite loud, and there we go. Our mana pearl. Did that complete a quest? It did not, but we don't need it to, because now we can make the Runic Altar by taking our living rock and combining it with a mana pearl and unlocking more chapters in the Lexica Botania. So now we can place this guy right over here. And now if we take our steel nuggets, combine it with a bucket, mana powder, and cinnabar dust. Oh, I forgot, we don't have any cinnabar dust. Oh, Galarian Wheezing always drops it. Okay. We can find those guys, they're always up there, I just never fought them. So we just have to wait up here for a Galarian Wheezing, get some cinnabar dust, get some mana dust, and mana dust was just turning, yeah, and pretty much anything in the mana infusion. We have redstone, sugar, gunpowder, we have all that stuff, so we can use that to make our mana powder. We just need a little bit of cinnabar. And there we go, not a Galarian Wheezing, but Grimers drop it as well. So now we should have everything we need to make our steel rods. And then we got a little bit of redstone from the... What's the name of that Pokemon? It's the one that transforms into like home equipment. Forget the name. Rotom, that's it, Rotom. Rotom dropped a little bit. He always drops all these cell batteries though, which I don't need. I wish I could just like melt them down, but that's not something we can do. So now we can turn this into that. Then we need cinnabar dust, which can only be made... How do I make that actually? With an earth charge. Gunpowder, coal, and Basil's powder. I think I have gunpowder. So now we can take Basil's powder, gunpowder, charcoal to make an earth charge. Use an earth charge to make cinnabar dust. Then take cinnabar dust, mana powder, steel nuggets, and our bucket to make a bucket of molten steel. So we just come over to this. Oh wait, does this need mana? I always forget that. Let's see. Bucket, steel nuggets, mana powder, cinnabar dust, and it does need mana. Okay, so I can break this guy to supply the power over here. Hopefully it's going to be enough. Alright, mana's going in. Looks like it is good enough to go. And then we right tap this with a piece of living rock to make a bucket of molten steel. Then we will need a rod and a sand cast. Can't escape the sand cast. We do have rods though. Alright, how to find some black sand. Oh, this guy has stuff. It should work if we just do this, right? Perfect. So now we can just steal this. Move you and you. Take this out of there. You go there. That. Put in our rod. What? Huh? Aluminum rod. This guy. Casting table. Cast. You can... Oh, you have to use a stick. That's odd. There we go. Now we can pour this to make one. And pour the second one. And make our shovel. Steel rod. Firestone. Firestone shovel. Quest complete. Any Firestone tool. Let me put this back over here so I don't lose it. A sinking feeling, and now we can make snow and ice by turning water into snow at this guy. So let me grab our buckets here. Oh, nice. And we don't lose the bucket either. I was kind of worried we lose the bucket. Wait. No, you get a bucket of molten steel. How would you lose the bucket? Think, James, think. And now it should be as easy as just placing water around this guy like so. So if you just do... I hate that. I hate how if you right click it, the water just goes through it. But if I do this, that should transform it into ice, I think. Or does it have to go up here? It might have to go on this side. Let me see. Okay, it has to go one up. So let me move this over here. Move that over there. Now that's going to transform into snow. And then we can collect the snow and move it and make a nether portal. And there we go. It turns into snow. So now we can just harvest this with a shovel. Where's my shovel at? Oh, it's right here. And that's not how you're supposed to do it. Oh wait, no, I could just craft this back, right? I can, okay. Oh, that broke one of my hydrangeas. That's not good. Why does the water want to flow over there? That's not right. Put this guy back. Okay, that does fix it though. Grab this and convert that into snowballs. And we just need 10 of these, so if I do this one more time, we're good to go. Alright, and now the frame is assembled out of snow. All you have to do is take your Firestone tool and right click to turn it into obsidian. And the nether portal frame is completed. Now we do need a way to light this. I think it said you can actually use a... Yeah, you can use a fire charge, which is probably pretty cheap, over using a whole piece of... Or you can use bronze as well. We have a lot of bronze, right? Or I did. I don't know where I left it. Let's take a look. Gunpowder, charcoal, fire charge. Now the only danger with this is that if our nether portal goes out and I don't have these on me, that could be very bad. So I'm going to store these guys in there. And now we can light the nether portal. And we finally have done it. Are you ready? Have you checked everything? Torches, food, pokeballs, bombs, potions. It's yours, my friend. And go to the Nether. Now, this place is probably going to be very dangerous, so we're probably going to leave as soon as we get in there. But this is a pretty big milestone for our journey. So let's take a look. We made it. Advancement made, and we're already getting attacked by some zombies. And I was right. So there are zombie villagers in here. Seems like there's a lot of them. There's also a lot of like bone creatures. Like, look at that. Okay, and a ghast. I need to get out of here. Let's leave real quick. A lot of bone though. Bone block. Nice. We've successfully made it to the Nether, and that should give us access to everything inside. And check your diary. What's that? Then write in your diary, secure the portal. Wait, what is it talking about? Okay, I have no idea where that went in the diary. I actually have no clue. Hopefully that doesn't mean like we'll get attacked from here. That is why I built the Nether portal off in this direction, away from all of our stuff, so we should be fine if something happens to come out. But other than that, I think we're set to make good progress. I think next episode we're going to start venturing into the Nether and trying to find some stuff. There should be a lot of good stuff in there. The main thing, we can harvest bone blocks for tons of fertilizer. We can harvest soul sand for more building materials, netherrack for more building materials. We can now find gold. We can get anvils. There's tons of loot in here that we didn't have access to before, including all of the Pokemon spawns that are now in the Nether. Now we are going to have to bring some torches with us and really establish a safe zone for the portal. As we saw, there was a ghast already spawning, and if it shuts off the Nether portal, that would not be good. But as always, I'm your host, Hamas28, and I'll see you guys next time.